Hey guys, Little Y here, and I'm here to do a mod review on Big Reactors. Now, yes, that's the name, and guess what? Big Reactors. Big Reactors, Big Reactors, Big Reactors, Big Reactors. This mod right here is such a great mod that it goes very well with thermal expansion you want to get. Now this is one of those mods that kind of, it matters how you go with it. It could be OP, as you see this one right over here, that it costs so much stuff to power it you don't want to know. Or you get something so simple like this and still be well powered your whole base. So let's get started, shall we? Now this will be a two-parter, so you probably want to stay tuned for the second part, which will be dealing with turbines, the same mod, but that's within the same mod of Big Reactors. So, stay tuned for that one. So, the first thing I want to start with is, what do you need to make one of these simple big reactors? Well, what I have in my inventory is what you need. Now, let's start with the ore spawn. There is one ore that will be spawning in your new world or new chunks. It is yellowite ore. Now when you break these, you just get this simple block here, and once you get this block you have to smelt it into its to its ingot form, as you see right here. But you also gotta, to have to make these reactors here, you gotta make graphite. And how you make graphite, you may ask? Well, you can just melt charcoal or coal. Now, if I go here, see, charcoal or coal, or graphite dust, which is just basically redundant, basically. But anyways, going off from that, and then you make these into these reactor casings, reactor power tap, reactor access port, reactor controller, reactor control rod, and fuel rods. So the recipes for these are pretty simple. They're just like so. You just use uranium or uranium. Ooh, it's radium. And it requires, a good amount of iron. So you basically need a lot of these reactor casings to be able to get the the whole thing. And the optional thing are the reactor glass, so you don't have to really worry about the reactor glass because it's not needed. But if you want to see your awesome reactor, you can use those. So the power tap is like this with redstone. It's kind of a not expensive. This is where it's getting a little bit more expensive by using chest and a piston, along with 4 of those. And this is where it gets expensive because diamonds and the real ingots are pretty rare, but once you find them, you find them in packs. So you can find them in pretty big packs. I'm not sure what the max size of those little, veins, you may call them. But yeah, they are pretty big for what they are. So the next one is the reactor control rod. So how you make these? Just like so. Gotta get the uranium or uranium right there with the graphite ores, and of course the reactor casings. The rods themselves are like so, and you need like one of these at least for each row of these. So I'll show you just a second what I mean by that. Now finally for the looks, the aesthetics of this. It's just glass between one of these. So you need 2 glass, and it's basically 2 for 1 right there. So, good deal because you can see through it and it actually works. So, how do you make one of these, you may ask? Well, let's do it right now over here. Now I'm going to make a small one, so it's like a... So I can show you one last thing that you guys may want to have. Now this is not necessary. You don't need to have what I'm going to be doing here. you could have like the baby one that I have over there that I will show you in just a second. But I'm just building a one that is just, you know, big enough so you could see into it and have enough room to see what I'm going to be doing in just a second. Now, when you're building, you're already want to have at least a 1 block room inside, and it can't be any bigger than a 32 block by 32 block by 32. Alright, as you see over there. I tried to make a biggest one. I tried making it a 64 by 64. Yet, kind of went down to that. So, yeah. So, once you get to this point, you could just either put it on the top. You could have either just plain glass. You can't not have just plain glass all around. You have to have some form of reactor blocks as a box surrounding it. So, once you have this done and have a control rod where you're going to put your fuel rods, you want to stack them. You don't have to really have to put them like so, but I kind of prefer them to be like this, so you just do like that. So once you have that done, you have to replace at least 1 access port and 1 power tap. Those are the minimum requirements that you want, because you kind of want to take the power out of your reactor. Now, finally, don't have to forget about the controller for your reactor. But anyways, once you put that done, and it will kind of form up to this multiplex structure. And see, this is the minimum thing. You don't have to do it like this, but I'm going to add one more thing to it, so you guys could, you know, have a cool looking, reactor. Now, you don't have to cool the reactor at this current moment in time, because when the more energy it'll let you use, for your fuel up, the less effective it will be, because you'll be wasting more fuel for less, power. So, you guys may ask yourself, how do you cool this down? Well, what you guys can do is get any form of liquid that is like a cooling thing, like water, or this instance, cryothium. But I'm going to get the ball form too, because it's fun and it can. Now, this also kind of requires what's called the thermal expansion, because that's how it uses its power format. So that is like you want to know information. So yeah. Anyways, that's filled enough. So once you fill up your reactor, so it's going to be, I'm going to show you when a reactor is not, not filled, but this is when a reactor, when it is filled and you want it to be filled. Now, as you see, this kind of looks complicated, but I'm going to break it down simply for you. Alright, this is the energy, or the core temperature. This is just how much it's filled with. This is the energy output. Basically, right here, it's redstone, or flux per tick. This is the fuel burn up, which there's tooltips for every single one of these. So these are by millibuckets, so the less you have them like this, the better it is and more efficient it will be, and probably more power you get over time. This right here is the fuel reactivity. The more higher it is, the reduce the burn up, basically. Now, the reactor case heating and the core heat, these two are here. You want to keep your eyes on, because the lower it is, the much more fuel efficient you will be. Now, this right here is the energy buffer. I'm going to get the UI off here. This right here is the energy buffer. There is only a certain amount of buffer that you can put onto a reactor, so keep that in mind. So you may be asking, like, how can you put in stuff into the reactor? Well, that's why we have this reactor access port here. What you want to have is uranium ingots or blocks. And when you put when you put this stuff in here, you know how it's sucked in and all that stuff, all the wonderful good stuff. Or you're like, well, when it kind of runs and after a while it'll be running, you will get these cryonite ingots. Those are byproducts, and you could use them to basically get the the turbines that I have mentioned earlier. Now, once you fill that up, you go back to the reactor control, and you want to go down to this very bottom, and you want to activate reactor. Wrong. And now you are making energy, and as you see, the reactor casing and the core is getting hotter. Well, it will be much hotter if it was not having the liquid cryotherm there. Now, I'll be right back in just a second when I make a duplicate one of these, but without one. Do not stand inside the reactor when it's on. But anyways, that's a weird thing you can do with these reactors. They don't check for entities inside, so you can just have disco people inside with your reactor. So anyways, as you see here, it is finished, and this is the exact copy of what you have seen me make this, but without the liquid cryotherm. And as you see, the core temperature is extremely hotter than the core temperature on this one. See, if this was a IC2 or Industrial Craft 2, this reactor will be gone before I was able to start recording again. So yeah, and plus this little area, plus this reactor right here. But anyways, these things will run anyways without worry about this, since this one's been on for barely 20 seconds before recording. It's already 1.1% has been depleted, and this one's been since I was recording, which is just 2.7. Yeah, this one's more inefficient. So anyways, moving on to the smallest one that I was able to make is right here. This one right here is fine. You can make this one. This one has been on the whole time that I had this server running. Oh, this is the internal server. No, anyways, single player. But this has been running like the whole time. It gets 226, while these over here, which I didn't mind take a look at actually, is 486. This one is, yeah, see, it's way more efficient than that one. This is 1131 RF. So yeah, this is way more efficient, and you want to put water in it, as you know, and the more coolant you put into it, like the colder the coolant is, the better it is. Like liquid cryotherm is probably one of the best ones that you just put into it. It will cool it down so so much, like I have there. That's why I put in all my machines here, including that big thing over there. Though it is hard to make, but it is worth putting into it. So as you see, this is the smallest one possible. It is a 3x3, has one control rod and one reactor fuel rod, a power tap, and a access port. And it does not have a viewing glass at the back. I just do that right now. Why not? And as you see, this is one view rod right there. But anyways, for me personally, the biggest one that I want to make in a single player world is probably gonna be this one right here, since it creates so much, there's so much energy that I have to take out the stuff for my testing when I was waiting for it to charge up. The one in your cell is like, ah, no, I'm already filled. So I'm just going to grab one of these, and this is the test rack that's linked up to it. And as you see, it is filling up all these equally as fast, and these are maxed out on their thing. Well, it kind of did not equally go for those two right there, but anyways, it's equally forcing as fast as possible to each one of these, and it will basically soon be fully charged when in a couple seconds, basically. But if you really want to go all out, you want to make that big one over there. Now, coming over here, so I made 2 of them here. I was trying my best to make them kind of explode, but you know, you can't make them explode because they're just that cool. Now this is the one I made just quickly off camera. That well, I made all these off camera except for that one, and you know, all that stuff. But anyways, this is basically the kind of, you just put all your uranium and put them into this one little thing, because this thing is all fuel rods, and it's basically took a couple stacks worth of, or a couple stacks of those brick uraniums. So yeah, as you see here, the core heats, or the heating of the core is so high, and it's also the casing too, that it's literally very, very inefficient, but it's very, very powerful. Not as powerful as that one over there that I made with the liquid cryothium. Now it's come to this beast here. Now this beast is very hot for the cores, but it is very, very efficient. I mean, very, very efficient. But see, you know, everything's high. It's doing 8 millibuckets per tick. That this is basically stronger than the, from actual utilities. There's a generator with that you could use nether stars. This right here could fill up more tesseracts if when it's, you know, filled. It's basically to say. So as you see here, it creates so much power. So much power. I put 3 of these power taps to it. And now I'm not going to be able to do anything with this power because, you know, hook one of these up to it. It's already filled basically. It's already at its max power output because, you know, look at this. It's still going. Let's take a look at the buffer. The buffer is not taking a hit. As you see, there's 56 different fuel rods in there. They're spaced out 2 part this way and 3 part that way, as you see. And this is not the most efficient way. You could probably put 1 by 1 and make this way more powerful. But hey, tell my French shop too. But yeah, that's how I did it. I didn't feel like putting much more fuel rods in there. After doing that, this took me like 2 hours plus. Even in creative mode, it will probably take, you know, 3, probably 4 months non-stop playing Minecraft to get this big of a monster. And that's if you're going from ground up and you're just doing this straight on, you know. So yeah, there you go, guys. Now this is basically the Big Reactors mod part 1. I know it's kind of long, but it is what it is, basically. It is a very big, well, not very big, well, yeah, Big Reactors mod, but there's so much stuff to show you. You go up to 32 by 32 by, probably, yeah, 32, I can see here. Or you could go from simple to 3 by 3, you know, go 9 by 9 or whatever. But you build your reactors your way and have fun with it, basically. You know, the link to the mod, you know, download page is in the description as always. And see you guys in part 2 where I show you the turbines in it. I'm just going to show you guys with the big reactor right here. So yeah, see you guys then.